Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. As I record today, it is Hurley's third birthday. Hurley is my big baby bubba of a sheep that I got back in 2021. And I got him when he was about a week old, but today is his actual birthday. It's hard to believe that that tiny, cute little baby lamb that I bottle fed is now a huge, big boy. I honestly don't miss the bottle feeding and all of that, but I do miss the really cute little baby. And he used to snuggle and cuddle with me a little bit, and now he's definitely an out in the paddock pet that I just come and visit and pat over the fence. The other two sheep that I have, Evie and Vito, they turned 3 about 2-3 weeks ago, but and I know that's a bit like, Hurley is definitely my favorite. He is my baby that I bottle fed, as I said, basically from when he was born. And the other two I bought when he was just being weaned off a bottle so that he had some company when I put him out into the paddock by himself. So I don't have quite the connection to them. I do still really care for them, and I love having the 3 of them together. But Hurley is definitely my baby, and that's the milestone that I am celebrating today. Speaking of the sheep, they are definitely eating down the grass very well, much quicker than I would have hoped. So I think I will be moving them out of this area out here by the shed, confining them to just their main paddock for a while, and hoping that this area, we're still getting, that sort of real spring growth in the grass. So it should recover reasonably quickly so that they can then go back in and get some fresh grass from there. Speaking of the grass growing, Adam has been doing quite a lot of slashing and boundary preparation. After all the high winds, he did some clearing, and then he's also gone through with the tractor and started to slash the grass because it is getting long and we need to start doing fire preparation, especially around the boundaries. He also mowed my back lawn, which was really nice. I was away at a market, which I'll talk about, and he sent me a photo and said, "Oh, I've mowed your back lawn." And that's great. I find it hard to use the new, well, not even new anymore, but the newer ride-on mower because where the seat is on it, I can't reach the pedals. And in order for the motor to be running, you have to be like sitting flat on the seat. So if you lift your bum up to press the pedals, then the motor cuts out. So I have to sit with like a weird cushion under me, and then it's all kind of not 100% right, and it's very uncomfortable. So I can do it, but it's much easier when someone taller than me does it because they're not having to deal with the weird cushion on the seat in order to make the motor run. Also, in relation to springtime, I can now see what's happening with the garden out here. Some stuff is recovering, and some plants have just been absolutely decimated by the frost, and it's not coming back. So it is now at the point where I'm going to cut back and pull out the things that have not done well and have not survived, and throw in I've just grabbed a whole lot of different kinds of plants from the nursery, some shrubs, some smaller little like flowers that are ground cover, some more grasses. Just going to try a few different things and see what works and what doesn't. And I've gone with a variety of colors of foliage and flowers too, to hopefully attract birds and butterflies and bees, and also just to create interest in terms of having some color all year round, even if it's just green, if it's like different greens, just to make it pretty out here. So I've bought those. I think this afternoon I will probably do some weeding of the path and maybe some weeding of the garden beds and get that ready. And I think Mummy's going to come and help me tomorrow to do some actual planting of the plants and some pruning and cutting back of the things that are going to be kept. So I'll be able to share with you what it looks like after it's all done. But today I can just show you the before. I'm wearing the Clapotis this week. It featured in nitty.com in their fall issue of 2004. So this is the 20th anniversary of the Clapotis. It has been a sensation on Ravelry. It's been knit thousands and thousands of times. Um, and so I thought that I would wear mine this week. This is actually the second one that I made. The first one I made out of an acrylic, and I think it was one of the first sort of projects I kind of did. I'll have to go back and look at that one. But this was the second one that I knit. It is out of Shopper Wool Zoba Ball in the Cafe Flare colorway, and I knit it back in 2013. So it's a nice little scarf. It's got I'm sure you've seen this pattern because like I think everybody has seen this pattern. Here we go. So it is sections of stockinette and then sections of dropped stitches. So that fun moment where you drop the stitches and you have to unravel them all the way down your knitting. So yeah, it's sort of an, oh, sorry, I just bumped the camera. It's a nice sort of a look down memory lane. It's been quite a while since I've worn this, but I got it out and I'm like, I should actually wear this more. It's a nice sort of light, small scarf that wraps around the neck in just the right way. And I think that the drop stitches add a nice bit of interest. So this week I have been doing some preparation work over here in the shed because this coming weekend I will be having my first in-shed workshop day kind of thing. Not an official one. This is just going to be some knitting friends that I've invited over. So it's sort of a bit of a test run, dry run kind of thing. So I've been restocking the wood in here and vacuuming the floors and just making sure it's how I want it to be so that it is ready for when they arrive. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to have them here for the afternoon. We're going to do a little bit of yarn dyeing. We're going to sit and knit and drink coffee and tea and soft drink and have snacks and just really just sit and hopefully enjoy the space. I think it's going to be a little cool, so I might be able to pop the fire on, which will be quite nice. I've got some blankets, so if we're a little bit cold, we can snuggle up a little bit. And it's sort of going to be my test run for having classes and workshops here. So I will see how it goes in terms of people finding the place and parking and how it feels with more people in here. Like it's normally just me, so I really don't know how the space works with more people. So it'll be good to have everyone here. I talk about this with them all the time, and the shed and the farm and the animals. So to have them all come over and really experience it and see the behind the scenes of it all will be really nice. So I can give you more of an update next week on how that went, and also a little bit of insight maybe into my plans for classes and workshops into the future. I'm thinking probably not until early next year, but I kind of have to figure out a balance between the full heat of summer, which won't be pleasant to be over here in the shed. It's a tin shed, and no air conditioning, and the depths of winter when it's extremely cold and really wet. So in terms of parking, it's not great, and also in terms of just being out here, you really would have to rug up a lot, or all of us literally being huddled right around the fire. So I'm probably looking at autumn and spring as my main times where I'll be able to have people over. So I kind of need to think that through after I've seen how it works with my knitting group, and hopefully come up with a plan for some sock classes, maybe some dye classes, anything else that might be interesting. Even just having some sit and knit sessions would be really lovely, just to catch up with like-minded people. Last weekend, I was up in Daylesford for the Tea Time Yarn Retreats market. which is a small market that is held at a retreat. So it is an exclusive only for the people at the retreat market, which is really lovely. It's a very different vibe and feel to a traditional market where you're at a hall or a venue and people come in. Like you're coming in to where they are and setting up and then, having tea and chatting and kind of just standing with them and with the other stall holders, and it's very casual and a lovely way to spend a few hours. So I did that on the Saturday, but I had packed my car and I'd gone up and stayed on the Friday night in Creswick at my family's holiday house, and then on the Sunday and through until the Monday I stayed up there. So I did get quite a bit of knitting done, which I'll be able to share with you, because when you are sitting in a place that's not your own, you tend to be able to just have that clear headspace to sit and knit and not feel like there's other things that need to be done. Like when you're here on the farm, there's always something else that should be or could be being done. So yeah, the market was lovely. And then after the market, we went across all of the stallholders, went across and visited the Craftlandia store, checked out their space and had a chat about potentially putting our yarns and project bags, all that kind of stuff into the shop. So I'm working on what that might look like for me. I'm thinking probably my mini skein sets, my DK inspiration sets, something like that, rather than a whole lot of like single skeins of yarn. I'm just going to work through what that might be. I will be up there for a brioche class in October and a toe-up socks class in November. So I will be up there for classes, and I think that's when I will start to hopefully introduce some of my yarn into the shop as well. It's a lovely space to sit and craft. They've got a huge table, tea and coffee and chocolate and all that kind of nice stuff that you need, and a nice selection of yarns, and they're looking to expand that to some more indie dyed yarn like myself and the Knitting Man recommends, and also bags by Crystal Cat Stitchery. Just a reminder that Christmas pre-orders are still open and will be until the 14th of October. So if you're interested in the yarn, please get in quickly so that I can get that dyed up and sent out to you. I will have a little bit of it at the All About Fibre and Yarn Market in December, the 7th of December, but I'm not sure how much I will have. It will depend on how batches end up falling near the end of that dye period, because I'm not going to do a whole lot extra, because otherwise it just sits around until next year. I also have found a small amount of my Dancing Sugar Plums yarn from last Christmas, so that will also be available at that market, and then after that I will put it onto my website. I did make one little purchase at the Tea Time Yarn Retreats market that I was at on the weekend. I bought myself a little Notions bag by Crystal Cat Stitchery. There's her label there. And this is Liberty Fabric, and she makes these really cute little bags. It's a little pouch, nice solid zip, beautifully lined. And she uses all of the scraps from her big project bags to make these really cute pouches. So every single one of these is absolutely unique because she grabs the little bits that are left over to make the same size pouch, but using different fabrics. So I went through all of them and grabbed this one. I think it's really, really pretty. I do already have another one of these, and I desperately wanted another one because the one that I have, I've ended up taking to work, and I use it to put like my lip balm and my breath mints and my hand moisturizer and things in, and I keep it in my drawer, and it makes me smile and happy every time I see it. But I wanted to make sure that I had one for my knitting bag as well. So this is the one that I chose. Now to my knitting, and a fairly high production rate this week. So I've been on holidays. I spent a couple of days at Creswick, and it's amazing how much you can get done. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I just realized I've got my Band-Aid on my finger, which has hampered my knitting in the past 12 hours or so. I was putting clothes away, and I had they were all on the bed, and Maggie got on the bed and she was rolling around in my clothes. She found like the tag off a face cloth, and she was like trying to play with it. And I went to grab something else to fold, and she lashed out at me. She was just playing. She didn't mean to, but oh my God, she cut really deep. And I didn't think it was so bad. I just thought, oh, she's just like scratched the surface. And then I just started to fold, and all of a sudden there was blood everywhere. Uh, so I had to quickly bandage myself up, and it's right on the crease. So it's in a really awkward position, and I'm left-handed, so it makes it even more awkward. But yeah, I just remembered that, and so my knitting the past day or so hasn't been so good. But before that, I was doing quite a lot. Let me show you. So I finished my stripy socks by Bombed Yarns, and I still have tons of the ball left, so I'll be able to get another pair of socks out of that. And these ones are quite long, so again, I haven't woven in the ends because I hardly ever do in my socks until I'm about to wear them. But there are the pair, and I think I was somewhere on the leg of the second one last time I showed you. So that's those. This is just using the Fish Lips Kiss heel pattern from the toe up, and I've put in a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff in I don't know what yarn this is. It's just a leftover sock yarn, and it's got a little bit of sparkle. And I have cast on another pair of socks, or another sock. And I'm already halfway through the foot. So again, contrasting toe. This is in a yarn that I dyed for myself, just a mistake colorway that I took out of the batch that I did. So it's just a dark blue with a few little different colored flecks through it. And this yarn is hedgehog, maybe. I'll see if I can find the details, and I'll put it on the screen. I'd already made a pair of socks for my sister out of these, a lacy pair of socks. And as you can, I think I bought 2 balls of this because they were knee highs. So I still have plenty of it left over, and it's knitting up really beautifully. So I'm excited about those. And I've made a lot of progress on my little love. So last week I had just joined in the round. So I was just done there. That was just there. And I've done all of this of the body. And I have now put the body on hold, and I've started the first sleeve. Now, can you see a problem? Yeah. I started the second ball for the sleeve, and it is significantly lighter than the body. And I hadn't noticed before. So this is naturally dyed by Fairfield Fins, and it is in the logwood colorway. But look at the difference in those ball colors. And I hadn't noticed it before. I did buy these on different occasions. And I don't know which one I bought first, whether it was a lighter one or the darker one. And then I saw them again. I'm like, oh, you still have some of that logwood dyed purple. I'm going to grab another ball because I think I'll end up making a larger project with it. And I didn't really check, but they are significantly different. And I don't know why I didn't notice until I went to start the sleeve, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, initially I was a little worried, and I thought maybe I would do some ribbing around the end of the sleeve here, sort of like this ribbing through here, to maybe make it a little more of a distinction between the sleeve and where you just pick up. And then and I tried that, and it didn't look that great, and I thought it's probably not going to fit that great either. So I just stripped it back, repicked up, and just picked up in the dark color to begin with. So I pulled from, so this is still connected to the body, but I pulled from the middle of this one, and knit a couple of rows in the dark, and then I've striped through with the lighter. And because you're sort of slipping stitches and passing stitches, you're doing yarn overs and passing stitches over, it's combined the rows reasonably well. It's a little obvious in spots. There you go, you can see there, that's pretty obvious, the striping, but I'm not sure that I'm going to get it any less in your face. And now I'm just working the lighter purple, and it's a really lovely light purple, but it is not the same color as the body. That's really obvious there. So that's pretty true. I'm just going to keep going and hope that when it is done with the sleeves in the light color and then the body transitioning to the light color, probably somewhere about here, maybe. So I don't have, I've still got a reasonable amount, and I do want to make the body pretty long. So I might even get the whole of the body done in the dark purple. Oh, now I'm thinking maybe what I do is I do the second sleeve about up to where I've done this one, so I can pull from the middle of this ball and again from the middle of this ball, get this sleeve to about this length, and then go back and do, oh, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the best way to incorporate it. But as you can see, the stripes are fairly obvious. So there's no real subtle way to fade it in, I don't think. Once it's knitting in the light purple, it's actually looks really pretty. But it is a stark difference between. But I think having done that little transition through here has made it not quite as jarring. But yeah, I'm just wondering how much of the body I'm going to get done with this ball, and at which point I might have to transition through to the lighter one in the body, or whether I'll get the whole thing done in the dark. And if I could, then I might be able to actually do more of the sleeve in the dark before I transition. It's hard, right? But I don't want to not have any transition at all, if I wouldn't have had any left. Does that make sense? I think I'm literally just talking out loud and thinking about this as I'm showing you, because look, from back here you can't really tell. And I think partly is because the pattern runs the other way, it does kind of provide a bit of a shadow, so it does look a little bit different to the body. So yeah, I'm not sure how much of the body I'm going to get done with this, and then where I would need to start to fade and transition through. It is supposed to be cropped, but I kind of think I want to take it down to probably not my true waist, but more like my hips. I don't know. Fairly, probably like the top of my bum, like a lot lower than what the pattern probably says, because I kind of want it to be a bit more of a jackety, cozy kind of thing rather than a cropped cardigan. But if I got close to it being the length and not having to transition into the light purple, then I might change my mind. Sometimes knitting's hard. So I was a little bit sad and disappointed for a hot second. Still am a little bit, but I think I'm working through that. It's going to be fine. And look, worst case, I'm a hand dyer. I'm sure that I could over dye it in such a way that it would make it a little less jarring if I wanted to. Although having said that, there is still more dye in the body than there is in the sleeves, and it's just a different color. So It still would overall probably look different, but I might be able to make it look less different, more intentional. I'm not sure. Um, I am really enjoying knitting this, and I think that's why I haven't been quite as turned off by this whole extreme color change as I could have been. Um, it's become very intuitive, the lace. I know when I need to be doing which pattern repeat. And on the sleeves, that becomes even more important because you're not actually necessarily doing a full repeat once you get around to under the arm. And also, you're then putting decreases in. So when you do the decrease, you then have to kind of fudge the start of the round of the pattern so that it lines up through the middle, which is where you're going to see it on this part of your arm. So you can hide the weird transitions in the false seam that you're doing along the underarm, and then make sure that the passing the slip stitches over lines up so that your pattern looks neat. Because I started to just sort of do it normally, I'm like as per pattern, and realized obviously that because I'm losing stitches at one side, you kind of have to figure out each time you've done a decrease where you need to start your pattern repeat again, so that it does line up. But it's lining up beautifully, and I just see I've done a lot, and it's looking really nice. Like the fabric's really nice. I've tried it on and it fits well. I was a little worried that the armhole was going to be too small. I should probably try it on again now that I've cast on stitches and knit a little bit of the sleeve, because I don't want to decrease too much and I don't want the sleeve hole to be too tight now. So that's probably my next job, actually, to put this on hold or add an additional piece of cable and try the sleeve on. But yeah, I've tried it on. It fits beautifully across the shoulders. The collar fits well. So despite my vastly different colors of ball, uh, I'm going to keep going, and hopefully I'll end up with a garment that fits well, and maybe this will just create a little bit of interest. Let's go with that. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.